One step, two step, three step, boom. What if Ukraine just unveiled a plan so bold it could end Russia's war not in years, but in months? Today, we're breaking down Ukraine's newly revealed three-pronged 2026 strategy and why military analysts are calling it a potential turning point in this conflict. This isn't speculation. In a recent Telegram post, Ukraine's defense minister Mikhailo Fedorov laid out a clear three-stage roadmap designed to neutralize Russia's biggest advantages and shift the momentum of the war. Before we dive in, a quick note: military strategies evolve rapidly. Some details reference projected developments, so we'll stick to what's been officially stated and flag where analysis is based on current trends. Let's start with Step 1. Closing Ukraine's skies to Russia permanently. Fedorov's goal is straightforward but ambitious. Identify 100% of air threats in real time and intercept at least 95% of missiles and drones. Why start here? Because Russia's aerial campaign remains one of its most devastating tools. In January alone, Russia launched 91 ballistic missiles at Ukraine, the highest monthly total since the full-scale invasion began. Those were part of a broader assault that included over 150 missiles, around 5,500 guided aerial bombs, and more than 6,000 attack drones. The human cost is staggering. Over 1.2 million Ukrainians lost power during winter blackouts. And according to the UN, Russia has inflicted over 56,000 civilian casualties since the invasion began, 15,000 killed, more than 41,000 wounded. These aren't just numbers. They're families, neighborhoods, entire communities living under constant threat. So Ukraine's answer isn't just more of the same. It's smarter, scalable defense. Enter the interceptor drone. While a Russian Shahed drone costs about $35,000 to produce, Ukraine's new interceptor drones cost between $3,000 and $5,000 each. That changes the math entirely. Every Shahed shot down by a cheap interceptor doesn't just protect a building or save lives. It forces Russia to spend far more than Ukraine does in that exchange. Multiply that by thousands of engagements, and you're not just defending territory. You're draining Russia's war budget, one drone at a time. According to United 24 Media, these interceptor drones now account for the destruction of 30% of all projectiles Russia launches at Ukraine. That's not just an improvement. That's a strategic shift. But sealing the sky is only Step 1. Step 2 is about making Russia pay on the ground, at sea, and in cyberspace. Fedorov puts it bluntly: the enemy pays for every kilometer of Ukrainian land. His benchmark? Over 200 Russian casualties per square kilometer gained. That number isn't arbitrary. It's the threshold Ukraine believes will make further Russian advances militarily unsustainable. Let's look at the data. In 2025, Russia captured roughly 4,800 square kilometers in Ukraine. During that same period, Russia suffered an estimated 415,000 casualties. That works out to about 86 casualties per square kilometer. Fedorov wants to more than double that rate. Early 2026 suggests momentum is building. In January, Russia gained an estimated 350 square kilometers while suffering around 40,000 total casualties, including killed, wounded, and captured. That puts the rate closer to 113 per square kilometer. Still short of the target, but moving in the right direction. How does Ukraine push that number higher? By expanding lethal kill zones, drone-saturated defense corridors that stretch 25 kilometers deep. As Artem Belenkov of Ukraine's Nemesis Battalion explains, the goal is to exhaust Russian forces long before they reach Ukrainian positions. Every extra kilometer those soldiers advance through contested terrain is another opportunity for Ukraine to detect, target, and neutralize them. And it's not just about firepower. Ukraine is overhauling its entire military structure, streamlining procurement, reforming command systems, and embedding data-driven decision-making at every level. The aim: faster adaptation, greater efficiency, and higher attrition against Russian forces. Which brings us to Step 3. Cut the money flow. Fedorov states it clearly. The war continues because Russia has money. Money for missiles, money for drones, money for recruiting soldiers and funding propaganda. And the largest source of that money? Oil shipped around the world via Russia's shadow fleet. This fleet of over 1,200 aging tankers allows Russia to evade sanctions and generate an estimated $87 to $100 billion in annual revenue. That's the financial lifeline keeping Putin's war machine running. Ukraine can't sink 1,200 ships, but it doesn't need to. What it can do, and what Fedorov is pushing for, is deeper coordination with international partners to choke the system. Stronger sanctions, closing loopholes like flag switching and shell companies, joint naval operations to inspect and detain suspect vessels. The G7 and Nordic-Baltic nations have already launched a Shadow Fleet task force. But as defense analysts at RUSI point out, real impact requires broader global participation, especially in regions like the South China Sea, where Shadow Fleet activity often goes unchecked. Every dollar denied to Moscow is a missile not fired, a soldier not paid, a propaganda outlet not funded. So how does Ukraine turn this three-step strategy into reality? Fedorov outlines 3 execution pillars. First, strengthen partnerships. Secure record levels of international aid not just for weapons, but for drone production, air defense systems, and stable support for Ukrainian forces. Unity isn't just symbolic, it's strategic. Second, maintain the technological edge. Stay at least 10 steps ahead of Russia in every innovation cycle. Ukraine has already transformed into what some call a steel porcupine, inflicting roughly 80% of Russian casualties using unmanned systems. The next frontier? Artificial intelligence, autonomous coordination, and next-generation electronic warfare. Third, master the mathematics of war. Data is the new artillery. Systems like EBAL and Delta already provide high-quality battlefield intelligence. The next step is turning that data into decisive action, seeing threats sooner, deciding faster, and striking with greater precision. When Ukraine can predict, adapt, and respond quicker than Russia, the entire tempo of the war shifts. Is this plan guaranteed to end the war? No strategy ever is. War is chaotic, unpredictable, and deeply human. But what's clear is this: Ukraine isn't just reacting anymore. It's designing a multi-domain campaign, air, ground, economic, digital, to systematically degrade Russia's capacity to wage war. And in a conflict where momentum matters, that shift from defense to designed offense could be the turning point. What do you think? Is Ukraine's 3-step strategy realistic? Could coordinated economic pressure finally change the calculus in Moscow? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this analysis valuable, subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the evolving situation in Ukraine. Because understanding the strategy behind the headlines isn't just informative, it's essential.